This is another iRaw podcast.
Welcome to our hen house. This is Jasmine Singer.
And this is Marianne Sullivan. I thought you were being particularly musical
weird.
this
Well, because they always begin the same way and it's like boring already, you know? Like one day we're just going to begin in some like mid-sentence maybe.
Maybe we could do it in opera.
Like or musical theater, like a whole episode in musical theater. All right.
But not this week.
I think you're going to love this week's show. Marianne's guest is Chad Sarno.
That actually rhymed.
I know. He's not
It was
only
not a very good tune, though. I
don't think
whatever. This is working.
I know what my skills are, and that is not one of them. But I digress. Chad has a lot of skills. He is an amazing vegan chef, and he's also the co-founder of Good Catch Foods, and the co-founder of the UK's hugely successful Wicked Healthy Food. And let me tell you, I was in the UK recently, and it is seriously everywhere. Like billboards, like it is everywhere. And he is the co-author of the Wicked Healthy Cookbook. And he has a lot of opinions about food, as he should, and how it can be both wicked healthy for people and for animals by not eating them, and also wicked delicious. And he is from New England, which is why he says wicked all the time. So that tracks.
So he's also going to be on the bonus segment. So the flock is very lucky because the bonus is, of course, available to all of our flock members. And he includes a recipe, which I think is everybody's favorite bonus content. And he is a super great cook. So I'm sure this recipe, if you make it, I haven't made it yet, but I'm sure it's really good. It's king satay with spicy peanut ginger sauce. And if
so
you're it sounds so good. If you're a member of the flock, you'll get that email the Tuesday after this podcast goes up with that link. You can always, of course, find it on the flock Facebook page. And if you're a member of the flock and you're not on the flock Facebook page, like do something about that because you want to be on it. And if you're not a member of the flock, you can join for $10 a month or $100 a year at ourhenhouse.org/donate.
This seems like a really good time to bring up the fact that if you do become a member of the flock or make any donation between now and the end of the year, all of your donation money will be doubled up until $15,000 by our amazing Barnyard benefactors. So thank you in advance. And I have to say, like I get the alerts from Network for Good when we get a donation, and like, I'm always moved by it. But for some reason yesterday, I guess I was just super emotional. I was like practically crying with joy. Like I just got so excited and moved that our hen house means so much to so many people. Like I know, there's something.
I mean, it's money. Like, people give us actual money.
Yeah, I know. Well,
like people, you can always use money. So if they're giving it to us,
for our hen house. Just to be clear, it's for the nonprofit. Yeah, I just want to make sure you're not going and buying lattes with it.
Yes.
We're very modestly compensated here. The money goes to our hen house, and I'm trying to find if I could really quickly find it. We got such a beautiful comment the other day on our flock Facebook page. I was like, just about how much our hen house meant to them in their lives and why they chose to support our hen house. It's the kind of thing I should have had it ready in advance. So maybe I'll get that ready for next week. But the point is that like we are on the air for 10 years now. In January next month, it'll be 10 years. And we've never missed a week, and that doesn't even include the Animal Law podcast, which I think is on episode like 57 now. It doesn't include the additional TV show episodes we've had, the videos we've curated, the specials we've put up. We've had thousands of activists on our hen house in the last 10 years, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. It doesn't take an hour to produce an hour podcast. It takes a lot more than that, and we have an amazing team with John and Michael, and we can only do this with your support. So if you believe in our hen house and in our mission to change the world for animals, and if you want to join us in supporting pro-animal responsible media, then become a flock member. Join us for our end of year giving. It is like
and help us meet our match. We need that 15,000.
We need it. Yeah. I lost my tab. I think that's going to be the name of my next book. I lost my tab. Anyway,
I think that we're moving. What if you found your tab? it
found
would
my
tell
tab.
you to move on and stop
Yeah,
asking
I want to
for
say
money.
real quick that I think it's airing this weekend, but I'm going to be, I was interviewed for the Mortified podcast, and I hope you tune in because the Mortified podcast is really amazing. It's so fun. And it's based on the Mortified show where you read your middle school journals live in front of total strangers, which I've done several times. I used to produce it in New York City. I've performed it in New York, DC, and LA. And I performed it early this year in LA, and they recorded it, and now the podcast is going up. They interviewed me for it. And my story is that I was obsessed with Bette Midler, like as a kid, like over the top obsessed. And all of my diary entries were about it. And so as I was being interviewed for this podcast, like now in the real time now, we finished the interview, and I get an email from the guy Neil, who's the host and the founder of Mortified. And he said, do you happen to have any audio files of you singing Bette Midler as a kid? And I was like,
of course.
I thought you'd never ask. Like, what took you so long? Like, here, it's in my phone. So anyway, it's airing this weekend. I hope that you listen to Mortified.
And I was actually interviewed as well for
Amazing.
Public Radio International.
Yeah.
And mine was actually about animals.
Oh, right. That's what this podcast is about. I forgot. Yeah, you were amazing, Marianne. Like you had,
well, I was
like
pretty pleased. I spoke to this woman for like a half an hour, and I was pretty pleased. You say a lot of stupid things in a half an hour, and they can pick out what they want. And I really like what she picked out. This was about, it was a piece on Public Radio International, which encompasses NPR and the BBC, and I don't really understand how it all works. But it does get a lot of play. And it was a piece about Sandra, the orangutan in Brazil, who was recently transferred to Florida. And that was largely as a result of this court case where they argued that she was entitled to habeas corpus. So that's an amazing thing. But I remembered as I was talking to this reporter that my mantra that I tell myself whenever I get interviewed by a reporter, which isn't that often, but it does happen. Make it about farm animals. Make it about farm animals.
Yes.
And so that's what I tried to do. And she put it in there. I was so pleased. So I said, if we care about Sandra, why don't we care about all of them?
So
and
good.
Animals live and die in, I'm just reading myself. Is that obnoxious? Animals live and die in hidden factory farms and hidden laboratories. They're not going to court. So we're not going to solve this in the courts. People have to solve it in their hearts, in their behavior, and politically by passing laws.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was the best thing I said during that half hour. So thank you to that reporter.
Well, also it was so funny because you and I got the article version of it. And so we were like, wow, this is so cool. What a great article. And you heard from a former colleague who was listening to the radio.
Yeah.
And they heard, oh, there's a story about animal law. I have to tell Marianne. And then you were on it. And so
so this apparently was on radio everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It was impressive.
Oh, I'm so
really
sophisticated about media.
Yeah, well,
but that was
it's
fun.
not like you run a media organization.
That was fun.
You did a great job. You were also working out that same day. How's it going with your newly vegan trainer?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention. I think I mentioned either last week or the week before that my trainer had recently gone vegan as a result, or plant-based, as she put it, as a result of watching Game Changers, and so I love this. I go there today, and she's talking about this undercover investigation footage of dairy farming that she saw and how horrified she was. And she never knew. And this says it all. Stop eating the meat. All right, it doesn't happen to anybody, but more and more people, you stop eating the meat, and this is the first time, she's known there was bad stuff out there for a long time. This is the first time she forced herself to watch it. And she said she had to force herself to watch it because she really wanted to know. I just think doesn't that say it all?
Yes, totally. Good job.
Get the meat out of their ears and they start to hear the animals.
Usually, yeah. I have a story like that actually from this past week, but it's a long one. But you know what?
You have a long story?
But you I was looking at our notes for this episode, and usually we write "don't say at the top of it so that we don't say and you wrote a new addition. You wrote "don't sigh."
Well, because you tell me I sigh all the time when you're talking.
You sigh when I'm telling stories. You're like, oh God, here we go again.
I do not say. Oh,
you do.
God.
You say it in your head, and it comes out in your sigh.
Well,
Anyway.
everybody out there, write it and you can yell at me if you think Jasmine's stories are too short.
Oh my God, no, we can't do this. I don't want to sit. No, forget you heard that. Please don't tell me anything.
All right. I think we should start with the story already.
All right.
Since
So I mentioned that I'm taking an acting, like an acting class now, at 40, because why not? Which is what I used to do when I was younger, was a lot of theater and acting. And so I started taking this masterclass for acting, and it's really funny. Like, I find the whole thing very funny. You should take it because you're funny as hell. Anyway, so I mentioned so I was in class the other day, and the teacher said, he was talking about genocide and like the genocide of like all of these different groups of people and this and that, and how then he started talking about like genocide to Americans, and then he parlayed that into talking about Thanksgiving, and he was like, oh, so this Thursday when we're cutting up the turkeys, let's focus on what we're grateful for. And I'm like looking around like, oh my God, did you guys all catch that? Because he's a total hypocrite. But of course, everyone's nodding and like, yeah.
Was he bringing up Thanksgiving to point out like genocide of Native Americans?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, of indigenous people. Yes.
So think of that on Thanksgiving.
Yes, and let's go around the room and say what we're thankful for. So this is the only environment in my life with like not vegan specific people. So it's always shocking to me that people don't think about veganism all the time, because that's the kind of bubble I live in. So we're going around. He's like, we have to say what we're thankful for. So we go around. I'm like, oh my God. So one person's like thankful for her family, and the next person's thankful to live where he lives, and yada yada. And they get to me, and I said, I'm thankful to not partake in the genocide of turkeys. And everyone started laughing, and I was like, no, I'm serious. So anyway, so then he started talking to me about that, and I wrote it all down, everything that happened, as I do. And so the next day, I like completely last minute randomly decided for the first time in my life to take a try at stand-up comedy. And I did it. I wrote a set about being a vegan lesbian on Thanksgiving, and I went to an open mic and I performed it. And I read it to you ahead of time, and you said, it's not funny at all. Don't do it.
I didn't say that. I said, I don't understand why this would be funny.
Well, because you were taking it very literally, which is actually kind of funny in and of itself, because my whole bit was about turkey genocide, and which
I was in a somewhat dark mood at the time.
You were. It's true. And also, it's not like that's the thing about humor.
But I encouraged you to do it.
You said
I said I'm probably wrong.
Well,
I did
do it. So I went to the mic and I said, let's start with talking about what we're thankful for. And I said, no, I'm just kidding. I won't make you do that. I'm a vegan lesbian, so you could be thankful that this is only a 5-minute set. And
no, that's funny.
Yeah. So people started laughing, and I said,
as a result of my saying that, you made it funnier.
And I said, thank you. I'll give you all the credit. So I said, it's not like I'm going to sit here and show you footage of turkeys being slaughtered. Actually, I am. Can we dim the lights and lock the doors? And
see, that's funny too. None of this
everyone
stuff
kind of
there.
uncomfortably laughed, and I kept going, and I was like, as a vegan lesbian, like I don't actually have to do anything to make you uncomfortable other than like exist. And everyone laughed again, and I said, it's like 5-10 years ago when you were gay, people were just still not really that accepting of. I mean, I said 10-15 years ago, people weren't that accepting of it, so they'd be like, okay, you're gay, that's fine, but like don't try to make me gay and we'll be cool. And nowadays it's like, you're gay, that's awesome. You're vegan, okay, just don't try to make me vegan and you might survive.
It is kind of a different thing, because as we've pointed out before,
right,
gay people really aren't trying to make anybody who isn't gay, and vegans are always trying to make everybody vegan. We are.
Right, that's true. That is true. I should incorporate that. So anyhow, I just kept going, and then at the end I was like, hey, I'm gonna have a vegan Thanksgiving on Thursday, so you guys should come. It's gonna be really nice. it's going to be really lighthearted. We're going to eat a tofurkey and like maybe play Cards Against Humanity and break into an animal testing facility and release all the beagles. So anyway, it was like it went over really well. And then another person who was another person performing at the open mic went on stage and said, this isn't part of my act, but I just feel like coming out as vegan right now because I'm vegan. And
so cool.
Yeah, and then like 2 people after her was this guy, and he goes to the mic and he's like, I feel like since everyone's talking about veganism, like, why does everyone always like make fun of vegans when clearly they're right? And I'm sitting there like wincing in my seat, waiting to be the butt of a joke. And he's like, nobody wants a vegan to come to Thanksgiving. That is true. But it's probably how we used to treat abolitionists. We never wanted.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So the whole thing became like super positive about veganism. And then just parlaying back to, or that's the wrong word, but going back to the class. So when I was driving home, I got a text from a woman in my class who I don't know very well. And she said, hey, I've been thinking about the fact that you're vegan. And you mentioned that there was an article you edited about like vegan restaurants that would cook the meal for you to go. Can you send me that article? Which is something I edited for Veg News. And I was like, yes, I can. And I sent it to her. So that reminded me of your trainer story. Anyway, this was a very good story I just told.
No,
like,
that was a good story. It was not excessively long because it was very interesting.
Oh, good.
And
well,
positive.
Thank you. Yeah,
so,
it was super positive.
A+, Jasmine.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll see what happens to my newfound stand-up career. I will tell you this, just to go back to your trainer for 1/2 of a second, that I did the stand-up act that night because it was either that or go to the gym. And I was like, no, fuck the gym.
Oh, there you go. That's a good way to force yourself to do absolutely horrifying things.
Anyway, all right. So, yeah.
All right, let's move on. Okay. That was a good story, though. Congratulations.
Should we actually make
I only sighed once.
Should we make a sigh, like our transition? Like, let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
No, I don't think we should do that.
All right.
It's already gotten me down. And I do have something I want to talk about that I'm kind of excited about. I'm just going to mention this before we get to the interview, which we are getting to momentarily. But we wanted to give you a heads up about something that we heard about and we think sounds so cool. This isn't a paid sponsorship or anything. We just heard about it and we loved the idea and we thought you might too. So here, we haven't vetted it or anything, but here it is. It's called Tribe, and it's basically a browser extension. And what they say it will do, I haven't really tried it out yet, but it's so cool. They say it's going to help you figure out when you're shopping on Amazon. Some of you may not shop on Amazon, so I'm not sure it applies to you. But if you are, it'll help you figure out whether any of the products you are focusing on is tested on animals. So this sounds crazy, but when Tribe users, you sign up for it, and then it's in your computer, and when you select a product for purchase on Amazon, this little box appears in the corner of the browser to share whether the product is tested on animals. And I think they also give you some possible alternatives. And it's free to use, and it just sounds amazing. I mean, it totally makes it so much easier for people to shop for cruelty-free products, which is going to make them, make that an important part of their shopping list. And they're also planning on expanding to other information that's relevant to ethical shoppers. So I just love this idea, so I wanted to tell people about it. And you can add your Tribe to your browser at jointribe.us. I added it to mine.
Really cool.
I really haven't tried it out yet because I haven't bought anything since then, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. Let us know what you think if you try it out. I love that. And I think that this is a good time to bring on Chad because I'm excited to hear this. It's been a long time in the making, like on the production side of things. I mentioned before that podcasts don't just happen immediately. I think we've been talking about him for like a year. So I've been on the edge of my seat about this, and I'm excited to hear it. Your interview with Chad Sarno, who is the chef and co-founder of Wicked Healthy Food, a thriving, mission-driven online community that focuses on culinary education, consulting, innovation, training, and product development. And he is also the co-founder, along with his brother Derek, of the Wicked Kitchen product line in Tesco stores around the UK. And like I mentioned before, they are everywhere.
Yeah, he'll be talking a lot about that in the interview.
I was like blown away when I was out there and I saw like Lyft drivers were bringing it up to me. Like, it was amazing. And he is also the co-founder and VP of Culinary for the plant-based seafood company.
Culinary?
Culinary.
Culinary or culinary? Is it optional? All right, move on.
I think it's optional. Yeah, now I need to know. Of the culinary for the plant-based seafood company Good Catch Foods, which is like changing the world. And he is the co-founder of the Wicked Healthy Cookbook, along with like a lot of other cookbooks. Chad's mission is to inspire you to cook and to eat more plants and to make measurable differences in the health and lives of humans and animals globally. And he's going to be joining Marianne right after this. Today's episode is sponsored by Osea Malibu, and that's spelled O-S-E-A. Osea Malibu, the original plant-based, results-driven skincare line. Osea puts your health and the health of our planet first with potent skin and body care solutions that are pure, safe, and effective.
Osea's elements of wellness: ocean, sun, earth, and atmosphere. They inspire everything they do and the products they make. Each product is infused with sustainably sourced, organic, Patagonian seaweed and active botanicals that create a nutrient and mineral-rich, bioavailable base. This pure and potent base allows for the products to easily absorb into the skin and effectively bring about balance while targeting signs of aging and skin imperfections.
It's also founded and run by a family of women inspired by the sea. Osea formulates botanical-powered products that have shown proven results for all skin concerns. Osea can actually help reveal and illuminate your natural radiance, whether you're looking for hydration or oil balancing or anti-aging or blemish solutions. Every product is sustainably packaged, non-toxic, and as we love, cruelty-free and vegan, and made with love here in California. Go to oseamalibu.com/ourhenhouse and receive $10 off your first purchase of $50. That's a huge, amazing coup. Offer will automatically be applied to your cart at checkout. So again, go to oseamalibu.com/ourhenhouse and receive $10 off your first purchase of $50. It's oseamalibu.com.
Welcome to our hen house, Chad.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
I am thrilled to have you. And you